The rezoning of Jerome Avenue has sparked a major controversy throughout the Bronx, leaving some people upset on the effect it will have on the community. Joining us now to discuss this important issue, we welcome now the council member of the 16th District, Vanessa Gibson, and good to have you.
Thank you.
So here we are, we're talking about Jerome Avenue again,
Yes,
and the rezoning, and your thoughts. Give us your take.
It's been a long 3-year process. We started in 2014 with a proposal of the Jerome neighborhood plan that was administered by the Department of City Planning. And I would say in year 3, we've made significant progress. This is a plan that obviously is going to look at 92 miles of the area between Community Boards 4 and Community Boards 5, about 92 blocks. And that's really important. It's looking at upzoning, so it's looking at residential area, commercial manufacturing, it's looking at upzoning, and it's really looking at making the neighborhood more vibrant, keeping in line with the characteristics of the neighborhood, the seniors, the senior centers, the homeowners, the multiple family dwellings, and making sure that we can provide greater amenities in parks and open space, mass transit, more schools, and really making sure that ultimately we can create an environment that provides more opportunity as well as more families with an increased population.
And when we talk about this, I want to go back to the borough president. It's going to create about 4,000 new jobs. 1,500 of them will be affordable. Borough president says, that's not enough. I want about 2,000. Agree, disagree?
So the proposal is a projected 4,000 units of new construction. And what I will also say is with that, we are also looking at preserving the existing affordable housing we have through HPD tax credits and other incentive programs. We want to uplift the families that live there today. The majority of the residents and families in our district are not happy with their current living conditions. So we have to look at preserving, we have to look at preservation, we have to look at enhancing their quality of life while making sure that for existing families and potentially new families, we have new opportunities at growth and new housing.
So the plan goes to the City Planning Commission next, I'm correct, and then the City Council?
So where we are now in the public review process, the ULURP process, the City Planning Commission had its hearing earlier this month. They have 30 days in which they will make a decision by mid-January. January 17th is the day. And then the City Council will receive the proposals and the recommendations. We have 50 days in which we have to hold a hearing at the City Council. And then most likely, after that process, the City Council will take a vote in early March.
What are we hearing so far amongst your members of the City Council?
So many of my colleagues obviously understand that this is something that's going to have a transformative impact on my district, as well as Councilmember Fernando Cabrera, my neighbor in District 14. So while they understand the threat of push out and price out, they obviously are concerned about deep affordability, about maintaining stability for families, for seniors, low-income families, immigrants, children, public education, everything that we truly care about, all the fabrics of our communities. We want to keep that stable and whole. But I do think that when it comes to land use items, there has been this rule in the council that every council member follows the position of that particular council member and their district. So to say that my colleagues are with me, they are with me. If I believe this is the best interest of my district and Fernando agrees with me, then my colleagues will stand with me.
That's awesome. Now, give me a little bit about 3 years in the making. Obviously, this has been going on for some time. Give us where we are today. It's been a long time in this process.
Right.
A lot of controversy, a lot of going back and forth. Are you satisfied with where you are right now?
So I think we have made progress, but I am still not at a point where I'm totally satisfied. We have a long way to go. We have unfunded school seats in school districts 9 and 10, almost 2,000 school seats that are unfunded. We have an overcrowding issue in our school district, so we need to look at new school seat opportunities for public education. We have a housing crisis. We have families living at or below the federal poverty level. They're struggling to pay rent every month, so we need to achieve deep affordability. We have many residents, young men and women of color, that need good paying jobs so they can take care of themselves and their families. So any new construction opportunity, we want to make sure that there's a local hiring provision and MWBE provisions, minority and women owned businesses. You know, there are a lot of things that we're looking at. While this is a zoning textual amendment, meaning moving from an R7 to an R8 or a C1 to a C2, which are zoning changes, but it's a neighborhood plan, so it has to look at housing, economic development, jobs, education, mass transit, parks, transportation. Right. It has to look at how people move through the community, how they can better move, how they have access to health and wellness, better supermarkets, better retail, better commercial. And I also want to emphasize that in this corridor, a major priority for me and Fernando is the Jerome auto industry. industry, the automobile businesses that are along Jerome Avenue that provide a vital, needed service that we want to maintain. The challenge is that when you look at neighborhood rezonings and land use items, they are very controversial because people see the city being unaffordable every day. They have seen neighborhoods change drastically. They have felt the push-out, price-out effect, and they don't want that to happen in the Bronx. So we have a lot at stake. A lot is on the line, and after 3 years, I feel better, but I'm not satisfied that we've gotten everything we need.
You touched upon something that I wanted to hear, because I heard a lot of residents talk about this. If you're going to have this construction go on,
right,
what about us?
Right.
We should be a part of this process in terms of hiring, being a part of, if you're building up in our community, then the people who are unemployed, who have the skill set, should be afforded that opportunity.
Right.
So talk to me about that MWBE utilization, as well as having people being able to just work from the community.
Right. So overall, the city of New York has provided a very ambitious goal of, I believe it's 20% of each agency achieving MWBE contracts, and the millions of dollars we award every year to various providers, making sure that there are MWBE provisions. But in the neighborhood plan, we get the best incentive out of the RFP. When there is a new building that we are constructing, HPD issues a request for proposals. We get a number of proposals from developers, and we put indicating factors in the RFP that we want. How is your hiring practice? How is your worker environmental safety provisions, construction industry? How do you hire from the local community? We set the bar as a city, and that's how we receive proposals, and we make a decision based on who submits the best proposal. So we do have a lot of leverage as a city and as a government, and I say to anybody who's interested, it's really important for us to be a part of the process and make sure that in any final plan, there are local hiring provisions as well as MWBE provisions.
All right, Councilwoman Vanessa Gibson. So what comes next? What do we keep our eyes out for?
So next year in January, we have new members coming into the City Council. We have a new speaker. We have 3 new members from the Bronx delegation, District 8, District 13, as well as District 18. So I do have new colleagues that will be joining us in the Bronx. We obviously need to deal with affordability of housing, the homelessness crisis. We need to look at public education. The Department of Ed announced this week a series of renewal schools that are slated for closure, which is very disturbing to me because I'm losing one of my renewal schools. We have a lot on our agenda. We have a federal administration that attacks us on every end. They want to be immigration ICE agents and come into our courts and our schools and remove our parents and children. It's unacceptable in this country. But, you know, I think when you look at things that are happening across the country, like the incredible U.S. Senate race in Alabama, we are just really invigorated and we're encouraged that all hope is not lost. You have legislators in this borough, in this city council that care, that want to represent the people. We're not perfect, but we are getting things done. And all credit to Melissa Mark Viverito, our outgoing speaker, for her incredible leadership, supporting women, children, seniors, a young girls initiative, immigration, the right to counsel, which gives residents low income free legal services in eviction proceedings. We've made transformative change that is really unheard of. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But we do have a long way to go, and I do feel comfortable knowing that we have an incredible team in the Bronx and moving forward in the city.
Councilwoman Vanessa Gibson from the 16th Council.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Happy holidays to you.
All right.
Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa.
Yeah, and all of that, right? Listen, stay tuned. We're going to be right back with more Open. We'll be right back right after this.